The first thing I do, after waking up back before the apocalypse, is spend every last cent I have. I buy an underground mall that's been abandoned for 10 years. Everyone says I've lost my mind. Even the real estate agent laughs at me, calling me a fool. The construction foreman stands at the pitch-black entrance and can't help but ask, "Boss, not even rats want to live in this place. Why on earth would you buy it?" I just smile and say nothing. Because only I know the apocalypse is coming in 7 days. When it hits, a massive snowfall will cover the entire globe. And this is no ordinary snow. The snow carries an unknown spore. The moment it touches exposed skin, or enters the body through a wound, the nose, or the mouth, the mildest outcome is a raging fever and unconsciousness. The worst outcome is complete loss of reason, turning into one of the infected, driven only to attack the living. And that's only the beginning of the end. Once the great snowfall arrives, global temperatures will plunge, minus 30 degrees Celsius, then minus 50, eventually settling below minus 80. Power grids will collapse, communications will go dark, city heating will shut down. Within just a few days, the once thriving streets above ground will turn into a living hell. By then, money will be worthless paper. Gold won't mean anything either. What actually keeps you alive is hot water, food, medicine, and fuel. A cup of hot water will be worth a gold ring. A single ration bar can make even the proudest person abandon every shred of their dignity. A single bag of coal is enough to turn an entire apartment building against each other. And this underground mall that everyone despises will become the city's last shelter. In my past life, I died 6 months after the great snowfall began. Back then, I threw everything I had into protecting my fiancée, Vivian Lane. I gave her my last thermal suit, my last bowl of hot soup. I even trekked 3 full kilometers through the storm just to find her a box of fever medicine. But in the end, it was her own hands that opened the door of our safe house, telling Derek Kane everything about the supplies I'd hidden away for half a year. That night, Derek stormed my safe house with over a dozen survivors. They took my rice, took my medicine, took every last hope I had of surviving. And Vivian, wearing the very thermal suit I'd nearly died for, stood behind Derek and looked at me coldly. "Ethan, don't blame me. There's only so much to go around. I can't exactly freeze to death right alongside you." Then Derek shoved me out the door. Snow at minus 80 degrees fell against my face. I didn't lose consciousness, right away. I heard the sound of a can being opened behind that door. I heard Derek laugh and say a piece of trash like me lasting this long was already lucky. Vivian didn't say a word in my defense. She just gave a soft little laugh. That was the moment I finally understood. In the apocalypse, the coldest thing was never the snow. It was the human heart. When I opened my eyes again, I'm back. 7 days before the great snowfall. My phone screen still shows the message Vivian sent me. "Ethan, my mom says marriage needs security. Transfer the house into my name first. We're going to be a family sooner or later anyway. You wouldn't deny me even that much, would you?" I stare at those words, then set the phone face down on the table. In my past life, I signed my parents' house over to her name for exactly this so-called security. And after the apocalypse hit, she used that very house as her bargaining chip to buy Derek's protection. This time around, she wants my house again. Not a chance. I grab the property deed and head straight for the bank. 3 hours later, the mortgage goes through. Then I cash out my stocks and funds, sell off the few storefronts my parents left me, and even the car and a handful of valuable collectibles, all liquidated at a discount. By the end, I've pulled together over 80 million yuan. Before the apocalypse, this kind of money would set me up for a comfortable life. But in 7 days, it'll all be worthless paper. I'm not in a rush to buy supplies yet because I know all too well, no matter how much you stockpile, without a safe place to store it, it's just a gift for someone else to take. So my very first move is to contact the owner of that abandoned underground mall on the outskirts of the city. I already checked the property title in my past life. It's impossibly clean, no mortgages, no debt disputes, none of the messy ownership tangles. Its only problem is the location, too remote, vacant for far too long. Nobody wants to touch it. The place was originally built 10 years ago as an underground shopping street. After poor management, it sat empty ever since. The ground level entrance is run down, the space below is cold and damp, and there's barely any foot traffic. To everyone else, it's a dead deal nobody wanted. But I know better. It has 3 underground levels, thick walls, and a fully intact ventilation system. There's even its own independent well. More importantly, it was originally converted from a civil defense structure. The main structure, ventilation ducts, drainage system, and part of the backup wiring are all still there. I don't need to build from scratch, just seal, reinforce, and restore what's already in place. With a little renovation, this becomes a natural doomsday bunker. The moment the owner hears, "I want to buy it," his eyes light up. "Young man, you're sure you want that place?" "I'm sure. Back when it was built, it cost over 50 million. If you're really serious, 8 million, and I'll throw in the title and the underground parking with it. 5.8 million. The owner freezes for a second. I continue. "We signed the contract today. Payment goes through today, too." He falls silent for a moment, then slaps his knee. "Deal." To him, that underground mall has been dead weight for 10 years. Every year, the upkeep and unpaid fees hang off him like a rotting limb. Now that someone's actually willing to take it off his hands, he practically wants to shove the keys into mine that same night. The contract signed, I wire the 5.8 million immediately. He looks at me like I'm a complete fool. What he doesn't know is that in 7 days, forget 5.8 million, I wouldn't trade this underground mall for an entire downtown skyscraper. The moment the deal closes, I bring in a construction crew with one demand only. Turn this underground mall into a real doomsday bunker within 7 days. Basement level 1 becomes the power room and a defensive buffer zone. Basement level 2 becomes the storage bay, the cold storage vault, and the medical bay. Basement level 3 becomes the living quarters. 3 reinforced blast doors go in at the entrance, every corridor gets isolation gates and electronic locks, and every exposed window is sealed shut. The vents get filtration systems and anti-backflow valves installed. Cameras cover every blind spot. After hearing my full list of demands, the foreman's face turns pale. Boss, are you renovating a mall or building a bomb shelter? I look at him. Is the money enough? More than enough. As long as the money's there, forget a shelter. I'll build you an underground palace. On the spot, I hand over a 500,000 deposit. The moment the foreman sees the payment notification, the suspicion on his face melts into eagerness. Don't worry, boss. I guarantee it'll be done in 7 days. With the bunker renovation underway, I start the real stockpiling. Food, water, supplies, fuel, cold weather gear, anything that could save a life. Whatever the apocalypse demands, I buy it all. Fuel by the ton, medicine by the crate, food by the warehouse. Surveillance and protective gear are maxed out across the board. Salt, antibiotics, fever medicine, disinfectants. These are the priorities. In 7 days, a single small bag of salt will be worth people fighting to the death over. In this apocalypse, a box of antibiotics might as well be a second life. I buy up a batch of frozen meat rejected by a supermarket chain's canceled order. Beef, lamb chops, chicken legs, frozen shrimp, ready-to-cook meals, all fully certified. The only reason it's up for grabs is that the order fell through and it's just taking up cold storage space. When the manager sees me order 20 truckloads in one go, his eyes go wide. You sure you want all of it, kid? That's a lot. Do you even have somewhere to store it? I nod. The cold storage vault's already ready. What he doesn't know is that to him, this is just clearing inventory. But to me, it's my survival for years to come. Once the snow hits, the city loses power, supermarkets get stripped bare, and logistics collapse entirely. By then, half a block of frozen meat is worth fighting to the death for. At 8 that night, 20 refrigerated trucks pull into the underground mall one after another. Crate after crate of beef, lamb chops, chicken legs, frozen shrimp, and ready-made meals hauled into the freezer vault. The construction crew stares in disbelief. The foreman can't help but ask, "Boss, are you opening a supermarket chain?" Close enough. What they don't know is that in 7 days, every supermarket will be rubble, every cold storage room a battleground, and the bunker beneath my feet will become the safest place in the entire city. Over the following days, the once cold, damp underground mall is completely transformed. The power room, storage bay, medical bay, and living quarters are all sectioned off and finished. The diesel generators, battery banks, and fuel reserves are wired into an independent grid. Even if the city's power grid collapses entirely, this place keeps running. Basement level 3, the living quarters, is finished exactly to my specifications. Bedrooms, a kitchen, a medical room, a gym, a control room, a grow room, everything's here. The water recycling and air filtration systems are running smoothly, and there's even a small home theater. I don't just want to survive. I want to live well. In my past life, I suffered enough. Moldy bread, filthy frozen water, scraps other people had already picked over. I never want to touch any of that again as long as I live. On the final night of the countdown, the crew finishes installing the last blast door. The foreman pats the heavy panel, beaming with pride. "Mr. Cole, you can trust this door. Forget a normal person, even a car ramming into it wouldn't budge it." I look at the heavy alloy door and nod, satisfied. A car definitely won't get through, but after tonight what comes knocking might not be a car at all. Once the final payment clears, the crew departs. The heavy blast door slowly swings shut. A single click, and the entire underground mall is completely sealed off from the outside world. I stand in the control room, watching dozens of screens light up at once. The main entrance, the backup passages, the vents, the underground parking garage, and the surrounding streets. I'd already hidden cameras on streetlights, abandoned electrical boxes, and behind billboards. I'd also bought up access to the old surveillance systems of a few nearby shops. Right now, every single feed plays clearly before my eyes. The bunker is fully complete, and every supply is fully stocked. Down in the storage bay on basement level 2, rows of shelves stand silently under the light. Grain, canned goods, ration bars, medicine, tools, protective gear, and emergency equipment, all sealed off by zone. Every door has both an electronic and a mechanical lock, and every corridor sits within camera range. I go down my checklist item by item. Food, water, medicine, fuel, heating, purification systems, defense systems, all accounted for. That's when my phone rings. Caller ID, Vivian Lane. I answer and her impatient voice comes through immediately. "Ethan, what is wrong with you? I texted you, why haven't you answered? My mom says if you don't transfer the house, this wedding is off. And I heard from Derek that you mortgaged the house. Have you lost your mind?" "That was supposed to be our wedding home," I say flatly. "Vivian, that house was left to me by my parents. It has nothing to do with you." Her voice instantly